but I want to talk about what does it actually mean to comply with EUDR, and is it maybe an opportunity rather than just a disruption? Well, it is a disruption, we know that, but it is here to stay and we have to deal with it. So we like to look at it as an opportunity to drive our digitalization efforts into the origins, our clients' digitalization efforts into their own supply chains, and so on. So if we look at a use case that we have in coffee, the requirements are to source not only from one origin, but from 26 origins. So if we look at that, we had one client that is sourcing from 30,000 smallholder farmers. Those are located in 26 different origins. And that means we have to capture those origins, we have to capture those smallholder farms, and we have to provide a deforestation analysis. And all this needs to be done within the next 3 months. Now, why within the next 3 months? You might say EUDR doesn't come to pass until 2025. Yes. However, our team has been speaking to major EU retailers, and they will add their compliance clauses or EUDR compliance clauses by the beginning of Q2 of 2024. So you will be facing questions, requests for compliance from different parties in the chain. So let's look at how we can get there. Again, you don't have to take 4 years and 100 million euros. You have third-party teams that can support you. So the steps to do this, in this particular case, we imported 30,000 single GPS locations. We automated the mapping and analysis of those locations to provide the verifiable evidence that EUDR is calling for. We supported the risk assessment and can support in the risk mitigation. And the strategy for this is, and this is where I believe a lot of decisions need to be made fairly quickly from the stakeholders in the chains. The first decision that needs to be made is obviously on the external team that you invite into your strategy process. Not only technology, but most importantly, a team that can provide you the support to integrate and collaborate with the origins. To do exactly what Michael just mentioned, provide a solution so that the smallholder farmers or other stakeholders in the origins can capture the data that is needed, can capture the GPS locations, the polygons for larger scale operations larger than 4 hectares. However, you are strongly encouraged to also look at your internal team and make sure that you provide the resources, the human resources to create experts in your own team. Because if we're looking at EUDR as a digitalization driver, and my tagline here is from disruption to opportunity, we again have a strategy to look for the right technology, to collect, retain, and share data, do the strategy, expand it to an external team, make sure that we have an internal team that can retain the strategy and build upon it in the company. When it comes to implementation, of course, we need human resources to do that in the existing digital infrastructure from a service provider side like Dimitra or at the origins. And this is where it gets tricky. Michael was describing of their origin being ready for this. So you have a partner in Ghana, Cocoa Board, that will be able to provide you a lot of data in the form that you need it, or even pre-certified data. However, other origins might not be that far ahead with digitalization. So we need to adapt our strategy to different settings and different levels of digitalization. Now, what is the digital opportunity that comes from this? When it comes from the technology side, if you think of expanding your digital reach into your supply chain, you will improve the market readiness for new markets. And we've heard Michael briefly talk about CO2 markets that are very important to offset some of the cost of digitalization, and future regulation readiness and automation is also a big driver for that. So looking at technology, it will provide the opportunity to be more prepared for the future markets, be more prepared for future regulations, and be more prepared internally to prepare analyses based on the data that you collect, make decisions on the data based on the data that you collect, make real-time communication possible with your service provider, with your origins. And when it comes to your internal team, this whole process ideally strengthens your internal digital and data expertise to come up with new and take advantage of new opportunities when it comes to data and data markets. The implementation, therefore, optimizes and controls your own digital infrastructure. Maybe the ERP system that you and or your supply chain is using is not ideal. There needs to be an upgrade. Those are things that will come out in the strategy and will be provided and improved within your own infrastructure. The real-time communication with the origins is one of the key aspects that we find important because at Dimitra, we know adaptation of technology is the key in this. So same as having an external team that supports you in the strategy, you need to not convince the smallholder farmers to collect data. Convincing is very difficult. You need to provide them with a value or a value added application that they will use indefinitely. So what we try to do is always simplify our technology to simplify technology adoption, to give them a value, to improve access for the smallholder farmer to education so that we, again, provide a value to them. In the way we do it is in remote sensing, in our agronomists providing knowledge through satellite image recognition and analysis, training our own software to automate this. And this, of course, prepared us well, this work with satellite image data, to create a module that can now automate the analysis of deforestation for EUDR. So we do detect forest loss and new forest coverage. We provide a verifiable evidence in terms of a heat map comparison. And again, here we compare the last image of 2020 and the last image of today to determine if and when there was deforestation. We also detect compliance with local agricultural regulations and record all this to the blockchain. Our system is blockchain enabled, but not necessarily, so blockchain is not a must. However, we do encourage our clients to use the cutting edge technology that provides not only safe transfer of data, but has other upsides that reach far beyond transfer of data. We're happy to support you and your clients in about 70 countries, so globally. And again here, why am I mentioning this? Because we are looking at, especially when it comes to implementation, a very diverse and complex process depending on the origin that needs local support and which we can also provide. Happy to have worked with big organizations around the globe both from the agricultural sector as well as the government sector and NGO sector. And we're happy to answer all your questions in a one-on-one.